Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it. Pow!
What the fuck?
WTF.
And it's also, what the fuck?
What's wrong with me? It's time for WTF.
What the fuck?
With Marc Maron.
Okay, let's do this. Hold on a minute. Let me turn the heater off in my garage. Sorry, it's a little chilly out here, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies. Hope everybody's okay. I am in Los Angeles in the garage. Just got back from Seattle. We got the live show this Friday. If you are in the LA area and you do want to come to see a live What the Fuck taping, it's at the UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater here in Los Angeles. You can go to Los Angeles, UCBTheatre.com. So it's losangeles.ucbtheater.com and get reservations. It's at 8 o'clock Friday night. Jeff Garland, Jimmy Pardo, who may be out of work as of that day. He's the warm-up guy for Conan. Kate Micucci, Jim Earl, and Eddie Pepitone. So come see that. I don't know if there's any tickets left, quite honestly, but check in with that. There's another thing I want to plug right up here up front because I did something last night. I put a lot of work in, and I might be dying because of it. That's what I'm going to tell you. How's that for a tease, my friends? Is that something? Look, I'm doing this Comedy Central pilot with Chelsea Peretti, who you met the other day. And that tapes next week. That tapes next Thursday. I'll give you that information in a minute after I tell you what I did. Okay, part of the bit, part of the piece, part of the show that we're doing is there's sort of a correspondence piece. The show is called WTF, and I did a what the fuck correspondence piece. And as I talked about on this show before, I'm a little preoccupied with food in many different ways, and I'm horrified at the amount of food waste if I really think about it. It's not something a lot of people want to think about for some reason, but it's daunting to think about just how much food is thrown in the garbage in this country, in this world, on a day-to-day basis. It's just your average supermarket throws away like 1,200 pounds of food a day, edible food. So I get this idea to do a segment about that, and we contact a couple of people. They're called Freegans. A Freegan, these two, there's several of them. There was a movement of some kind. There still is a bit. Is somebody that lives on almost no money and shares everything. And they are very anti-consumer capitalism. And they believe that everybody should be provided for and everybody can be provided for if it wasn't for capitalism and consumerism. So they go dumpster diving and they share the food with the people they live with. And they have a soup kitchen at the organization that they work in. And they sometimes use the food for that. But I decided I'd go with them. That was the idea. So we go out last night. Thank God it didn't rain. We're going to dumpsters. I'm suited up. These are nice people. Good, decent Christian people. So I'm suited up. Of course, I oversuited up. I had waders on. But I'm in the can. We're finding all kinds of stuff. It was really disgusting. It wasn't disgusting being in the garbage. It wasn't disgusting going through the garbage. What was disgusting was how much unopened good food that we found. Crates of heavy cream, crates of orange juice, all sorts of dinners, bread, unopened. It was sad. I mean, it just gets thrown in the garbage. So here's what happens. And you'll probably get to see this if you come down to the pilot. I'm in the garbage and I don't know what I did, but I stepped, it had just rained and I stepped in a way where this huge explosion of garbage water came right up into my face, into my nose, into my mouth, and into my eyes. Garbage water. What is more disgusting than garbage water? There's nothing more disgusting than that. And it's all on tape. They captured it on tape. Right now, I could have God knows what crawling through my eyeballs into the back of my head. Staph infection, E. coli, conjunctivitis from cabbage. I don't know where it comes from. Some sort of garbage eye syndrome. I don't even know if I'll be able to do the show next week because I might have some sort of pussy, gangrenous, wound or boil, some sort of gargantuan sty on my eye from taking the hit, doing a comedy bit. Wow. But quite honestly, I'm glad they got on tape. I am glad they got it on tape. But that's just one of the things you can see if you come to the Comedy Central stage at the Hudson Theater. It's on 6539 Santa Monica Boulevard. It's right at Hudson Street. It's Hudson between Highland and Vine. It's right around there. But this is just for people who live in Los Angeles. It's next Thursday, the 28th, 7 p.m. Now you got to call because they don't publicize this stuff. So 323-960-5519 for reservations. 323-960-5519 for reservations. That's next week at the Comedy Central stage. My WTF Comedy Central pilot presentation at 7 p.m. Please come to that and come to the UCB this Friday, tomorrow, if you'd like to be part of that. There's a lot of stuff to comment on. There's a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, I'm furious. Some of you guys know about my political views or my political side. All I wanted was a public option. That's all I wanted was health care that was affordable for everyone. Because to me, that is future thinking. That is foresight. That is having vision. Instead of selling out and getting people to defend insurance companies, everyone being covered would have changed the emotional, spiritual, and mental disposition of this country, not to mention the economy. But now we're not going to get it. And now Ted Kennedy's Senate seat is a Republican. I'm so disgusted and disappointed with Obama, with Democrats in general. And I'm not even paying that much attention to it because I don't have to, because it's not my job anymore to do that. But I'm just disgusted to the point where I'm literally like, you know what? We're going to get what we deserve. No one's fighting the good fight. Is there a good fight? Sure there is. But why bother with it if we have Avatar? Why bother with it? And a lot of people are asking me to comment on the Conan Leno thing. Look, I think what we're seeing, by and large, even with the presidency, is that corporations don't give a fuck what you think. Corporations don't care. They don't care. They just look at their bottom line. Whatever your principles are or whoever you think you are, if it isn't in the main number of people that they're getting their money from, they don't care. They assume you'll get over it or die. They're just like, whatever. The numbers don't indicate that. The numbers don't indicate. Or else they'll try to dupe you into being one of the numbers that they can run money through. I mean, the thing that's scary about Conan, but obviously I'm not making a direct correlation between Conan and the president, but corporate occupation is corporate occupation. Corporations bend people to do what they want them to do. And corporations own the president. And corporations own congressmen. Corporations own Conan. Corporations own just about everything. I'll tell you one thing. They don't own me right now. I granted the electric company. Right now, if it wasn't for the electric company, I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. But you get my gist. So they said that Conan didn't perform. And quite honestly, what chance did he have, following that Jay Leno mess? I believe that NBC kept Jay Leno there as a placeholder, and they knew that this could happen. I always thought that Conan was up against a tremendous challenge for somebody of his sensibility. I knew that he couldn't bend his sensibility into what was expected in that spot. And NBC, it's weird at that level of show business, but it is just the Tonight Show. It's an important franchise, but it's just television. Zucker, the evil bastard, and NBC said, fuck it, we'll take the hit. Let's put Jay back. And Zucker today or yesterday said, look, people, this will blow over. That's corporate thinking. They realize that our memories, our short-term memories and our attention span has been so plundered and busted and shattered that we are all leveled to really the attention span of infants for the most part. This all happened through cell phone usage, computers, immediate gratification, the need to have things when we want them right now. And really it succeeded in making us all, completely fucking infantile mentally. And things do blow over. Not only will this blow over, but I think this is the same thinking that you're seeing from the Obama administration. Just, let's just pander to the middle. Let's just get as many people as we want, and we'll disenfranchise all of the left, most of the Democrats. We'll placate Wall Street. We'll placate the insurance companies, and fuck it. If people are sick, let them die. If they're broke, they'll figure it out. They'll move to the streets. No, what'll happen is there'll be a fascistic backlash that we're never going to get out from under. Now, obviously, that's not the same with Conan. Did he have enough time to plant himself there? I think he probably had enough time to make an impact and for people to get to know him. Unfortunately, that time was tainted by the fact that the dinosaur, Jay Leno, was doing an hour before him and losing people. But their belief is that, Conan's too weird, he's too awkward, he's too whatever for what we used to have in that time slot. So let's put the pablum guy back. Let's put let's pander to the mediocre. Let's just try to get those numbers of those people back and fuck Conan. Pay him $30 million. It's worth $30 million for them to pay him out. I feel bad for the people that had jobs there. I feel bad for Conan. I wish he had a better shot. I wish he had a clean shot. He didn't get a clean shot because they didn't have faith in him and they set him up from the beginning. And as a selfish person, I really wanted to make my Tonight Show debut with my buddy Conan. That's not going to happen. But I think that one of the lessons to be learned is that, look, even when you think you got it all set, even when you think you're on easy street, I mean, shit, man, it can happen to anybody. A lot of people out of work. And I have no sympathy for Jay Leno. I mean, quite honestly, he's got $1 billion. Just get out of the way. But I never liked him. I never understood it. I barely ever watched him. I never tried to get on that show. I've always been kind of loyal, which is, I don't know, it doesn't seem to matter for much in this world these days. But, Dave was my guy and Conan was my guy. And that was the way it was. Now I might have to try to get on Jimmy Kimmel because he sort of, he resurrected himself in my book with that thing he did to Jay on Jay's show. I mean, that was about as funny as I've ever seen Jimmy. And yeah, he's always been a nice guy to me, but, I don't know. Never liked Jay. Now he's back. Used to like Obama. Now I'm not so sure. Today I'm very excited to have interviewed my buddy Dave Attell. Now, Dave Attell is one of these guys that I've known a long time. And he's a funny fucking guy. And there's no denying it. He's just plain funny. But I mean, the real challenge with Dave is what's underneath the funny. Like, I've known him a long time. We have not had many conversations. He's very bright. He's very, he's a very sensitive guy. He's got a life like everybody else, but not many of us know about Dave's life. Dave was a guy, he'd be like, hey, what's up? Okay, see you later. And then he's gone. And it was very hard to have a conversation with him. And I gotta be honest. He'll make you laugh every time. He makes me laugh every time effortlessly, which is a gift to me because I'm not that easy to laugh. I'm getting easier as I get older. But to set this up a little bit, I knew he was going to be out here, so I reached out. I said, do you want to do the podcast? He says, yeah, all right, and now I'm actually doing David Tell's text. Okay, I'll be there. So I get in touch with him when he's out here, and we go back and forth with text a little bit. He's like, when? And again, I'm reading into the tone of his text. And I tell him what day, and then all of a sudden I get this text the day we're supposed to do it. Are we doing it or what? And I'm like, I said, what? Yeah, I thought we were, but I didn't hear back from him. He's like, I texted you twice. And, I didn't get any text from him. And I didn't get any. What do you want to do? Do you want to come out? He's like, I don't know. I don't have time now. So I'm like, fuck. I got to, so I call him and I say, look, I'll bring the rig. I'll bring my, my on the road rig. Where are you staying? He's like, all right, so come, but then he calls me back. He's like, I'm sorry, I texted the wrong person. You didn't get any text from me. And he says, are we doing this? I said, well, look, we don't have to do it right now. He goes, I thought this was your job now. So I'm like, all right, I'm coming. So I put the mics and the recorder in the car and I'm driving there and I'm like, oh my God, how is this going to last more than 10 minutes? He's in a cranky mood. How am I going to get through to him? Because I've known him a long time and it's not an easy conversation. So I met him at Mel's Diner and we went and we went outside to where he was staying in Hollywood. It was like, 3 p.m. and me and Attell are sitting out by the pool. He's got a pack of American Spirits, a chocolate chip cookie, a bag of Skittles that he gave to me, 2 large coffees, and it was really great. It's one of those things where it was like, it was great to get to know a guy I've known for as long as I've known him, which is some of the great stuff on this podcast is about that. I've known him. I've loved the guy for a long time, but we just don't, we don't hang out. Dave's the kind of guy that just sort of disappears into the night. Where's Dave? I don't know. He was just here. Where does he go? No one knows where he goes. Well, for this hour coming up, I know where we were. We were sitting next to a pool during the day. So enjoy this interview with Dave Attell. Let's do it. I'm talking to Dave Attell. We're at the hotel by the pool after I picked him up at Mel's Diner. And apparently I missed Dane Cook and Robert Kelly.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because, it was back. It was like old school comedy where we all, have nothing to do during the day. We're hanging out, having a very long lunch, brunch. This is cool being poolside as the sounds of the city.
Yeah.
Like we're in like this little, I don't want to give away the hotel, but it's not the Best Western.
No, it's a little nice. I've never been in here. It's a little courtyard situation.
It's nice, right?
So wait, so you're sitting with Dane Cook and Bob Kelly?
Yeah. Well, no, they just came over and said hello.
Oh. Mm-hmm. They didn't bother you?
No, I know. Bobby.
We know
really
Bobby
well,
really.
I did a special with Dane, so.
Yeah, I don't know Dane at all, and I've never gotten on board with the bitch about Dane Cook thing. But
okay,
did he exude a certain amount of confidence and energy?
He just looked like a guy coming from a brunch. I don't know what that means. He's been touring. He's been touring nonstop. So we always talk about touring, and he does it at a different level, but. Touring is touring, whether you're in a private jet or in the back of a Trailways bus, still being away from friends and family.
Does anybody do the Trailways bus anymore?
They're trying to get me to take a bus from Vancouver to
Edmonton?
Yeah, something like that. I'm like, am I a folk singer? What is that? A bus? How can the bus be quicker than the train? I mean, I know Canada's a magical place, but doesn't train beat bus anywhere in the world?
Can't you fly?
I'm not going to fly anywhere. Fly 40 minutes with another 3 hours of vicious pat downs?
Yeah. Is it a 40?
Have you been on a plane lately? I mean, when was the last time you were on?
Maybe a few weeks ago. Before it was long before whatever happened last week or whatever.
Didn't you stop flying 9/11?
No.
By that I mean 18/9/11.
No. What, is it bad now?
It's horrible.
What happened to you?
No, it's not what happened to me. It's just it takes a long time. And, there's a, whatchamacallit, there's this mood in the air of just like, you're going to miss your flight, and you never miss your flight, and then you're on the tarmac for 2 hours waiting.
Yeah, are you uncomfortable with that, with the X-ray your balls thing? I mean, the naked pictures?
Well, I don't know. They say that the guy who actually sees you naked is in another room, but when I walked through, they said, all right, have a good flight, Chode. And that's not good. That's an easy one. Sorry, everyone. That's an easy one.
So I get a lot of guys who listen to this show that are kind of comedy. There are a lot of comics who listen to this thing.
Oh yeah.
And I've known you for probably 25 years. I think right.
I know, but that's funny how you're doing a show for comics.
Well, no, they listen, and they want to learn things.
Right.
And I've known you like 25 years. I think the longest conversation we had was 8.5 minutes. So this is good.
All right.
And not that we don't like each other, just at some point it just.
I've always been a huge fan of yours. So.
Well, I appreciate that.
I have.
But what now? As many of you know, Attell is also the creator of the Attell rhythm and cadence that has been appropriated and utilized by many young comics. Does that affect you at all?
I don't know. I mean, as my career slowly slides into oblivion, I guess in a way it's kind of endearing. But they might have my rhythm and cadence, but they seem to back it up with a lot of street jokes and and whatever. I'm always a fan of like a well-written joke, but a lot of these guys seem to just kind of,
they just drive.
They don't really put less time on the bong and more time on the notepad might help. Some
now, do you want to? What are you doing?
I'm just taking a sip of coffee.
All right.
I didn't know we had to hold it. This is like a Vegas lounge act where we have to hold the thing the whole time.
Well, it's better. The sound quality's better.
Yeah.
Well, you're smoking and you go. Well, have a hit of coffee. We can edit this thing.
Okay. You're looking at like cringing because you're a one-man operation.
Yeah.
We can edit it.
No, I could do it. I got another guy. I got a guy in New York who does it. We got 2 coffees. We got a pack of cigarettes. Got a fruit salad. You gave me a bag of Skittles. I think we're good. You got a cookie and the croissant.
You got to back some of this stuff up with some pictures,
Yeah, well, I'm not quite that advanced. You're a compulsive joke writer.
Yes.
Now, do you when you write things down, like you have your notebook all the time? When you write them down, do you write in jokes? Do you think in jokes?
Well, it's not so much the writing of the joke; it's the listening to them bomb and then trying to rewrite them.
No, I used to watch you like years ago, where you'd start with a joke, and then over about 3 or 4 nights, you deconstruct it 9 times, drain all the funny out of it. It was quite an experience.
You figure taking a joke and working it 3 different ways would translate well to TV writing. It doesn't. It translates to the producer guy going like, so what do you want to do? Like, what is the idea now? It's like, no, I thought about it last night. We're going in the total wrong direction. We have to get a parrot. Don't ask me why. I mean, if I was Spike Jonze, that would make perfect sense.
Right.
But
but you're David Attell.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on with your, do you feel like your draw isn't what it used to be?
Well, rightfully so. The more you get distant from your credits, like, whether it's Comedy Central stuff or, I guess that's the only thing people know me from, but, the further you get away from it, the less people come out. But I have to say the crowds are better now than they were way back when, I was like on TV, because it's not so many drunk frat guys. It's just, there's a lot of people who like comedy, and like your name comes up a lot when they go like people I like to watch and people who they think are cool. And those people are great. Unfortunately, there's not thousands of them. There's a couple hundred.
Right. I know. Yeah.
And that's, I guess, the ones that you do it for, because I love doing comedy. I don't like any of the other parts of it, the promotion, the traveling, the all that kind of stuff. That sucks.
Well, I think it must be like the fact that you built this huge army of drunken children, and I assume that
they're old now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that the ones that stuck with you are probably still coming out and they're happy to see you.
Well, it depends, because a lot of them know my like Skanks from the Memories, like was the first CD I did, and that's like 6 years old, and I'm doing another CD. That's why, I've kind of like, I might do a special, but I think the CDs are where it's at for my kind of material.
Yeah.
My material is very jokey.
Yeah.
And I think people like to listen to my stuff like in a car. While they're getting wasted in a car, or like wasted at a party, or like, just in a dorm room looking at the ceiling. So, I think the CD's the way to go, and there's a lot of hour specials out there. So, but
I haven't done one.
You've never done an hour special?
No.
Well, why don't you do one?
Okay, I'll do one.
You've got the audio. All you need is that little flip camera, and you're ready to rock. I mean, have you seen some of these specials? They're like shot in like poor. They're shot by like really supposedly big name director people, and they look like they're birthday party video, man.
Yeah, I had a guy approach me. I'm going to go do a set at the Ha Ha Cafe tonight.
Yeah.
In the Valley, and some guy approached me there. He says, "Look, we can do a 3-camera shoot.
Crane shot right over the salad bar.
Yeah, it's perfect. We just got to get the guy to turn the TV off during the set. Do you play clubs anymore? I mean,
I play clubs mostly, and that was the thing that I kept doing continuously. I do some theater shows, but I'm not really a good theater act. I really,
why?
We could talk about it for hours, because good theater acts bring the crowd to them, and I always still feel this need to like throw energy at the crowd,
right?
And that just looks stupid, I think. But
you mean like you mean like take the stage and just let the crowd come to them, and you just keep pushing.
Yeah, like believe in what you're saying and not use your comedy club skills of like working the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And when you're in the theater, you got to really you got to commit. And like the great comics, the ones who have like something to say, whether it's political or they got talking about like Louis with his family, or some of these other people, it's very difficult to just tell joke after joke after joke in a theater, because people are like, okay, well, if I don't get this one, I'll just tune back in on the next one,
Or else, also that you got to give a little more time for the.
True. Yeah.
And your pace is very rapid. You're like a joke machine.
Yeah, I slow down a little bit thanks to the stroke. No, but I agree with you on that. Now, you're more of a theater act than I am,
Sure. My issue is really just getting people to the theater.
Yeah, you have I think you have a disconnect with your audience.
Yeah, I'm using this right now as we speak to connect with my audience.
Well, I think that's great that you take time out of your schedule to do it.
My busy schedule. My busy
Here we are
schedule.
sitting in the hotel you own.
trying to get work.
See, isn't it the good thing about this hotel? We're not going to say which one it is, but I've stayed at the Roosevelt Hotel. I've stayed at the Standard, and like they have a pool, but it's not like a pool like this. Like this is a great pool for swimming. Maybe you can, do some fake diving, like you pretend you're underwater or
Yeah.
something. Their pool is like very shallow, and you're just supposed to tan around it.
It's also like a dance club pool.
Yeah,
You go to the Roosevelt. I don't know about the Roosevelt, but the Standard's like some sort of weird clusterfuck.
Well, I'm way too old. I'm too old and too ugly to be in that hotel. Like the Standard, you have to have a good looking. You have to have some kind of modeling experience.
And you should always be hanging with someone who has an English accent or a Swedish accent.
Yeah, there's a lot of Anglo people over there. And they're not all comics, because I thought every Englishman in America was a comic.
No. Do you go to England?
No, I haven't been there in a long time. I was going to set up a run over there. That's like where you do theater shows. But, like I said, like most of the flying I do now is like for the USO. Like I'll go to Iraq, but I wouldn't go to England. I'd like to go to England.
What are those shows like? Who do you go with usually? I mean, who's on the show?
Well, the last one I did was a bigger show because I got to fly on Air Force 2.
Really?
That's like Air Force 1, but not as good.
But really?
Yeah, because it was the command. It was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So he's like he controls the whole military, and he's a cool dude. His name's Marc Maron, and he does a holiday tour every year. And it was me, Billy Ray Cyrus, and Anna Kournikova, and Anna Kournikova's 80-year-old coach, who was a tennis guy, but he does like inspirational speaking. Which I don't know if they really need it once they're there.
Once you're a Marine?
Yeah, he was an ex-paratrooper, but he was saying stuff like, I don't want to die, you don't want to die, so win. It was very
keep your eye on the ball.
And, I was thinking, like, they could have gotten, like, the winner of The Biggest Loser would have probably connected more with these kids. Like, I was fat, now I'm thin. Now do the same thing to those Taliban.
But did they have a Bob Hope kind of hosty person?
Yeah, I got to banter it out with her, with Anna.
Who hosts it?
I was hosting it.
Oh, you hosted it.
Yeah, and they would bring me out, and like a lot of guys know me from back then. And here's the weird thing about this whole war that we have: our troops keep going over and over and over. And I've been over there a couple times, so guys will come up to me and go like, "I saw you here in 04. I saw you here in 07." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, you want to do new material, especially when guys holding a machine gun.
You realize you get repeat crowds?
Yeah.
Like 3 years later.
And then some of them will go like, I'm in the National Guard. By the way, the National Guard guys really deserve a lot of credit because they're the ones who like have a real job. Like they have a job back in the States and they get called up
and then
they have
the
to
first
go away
one's
for
in.
16. No, that's
not true.
You are such a. Do you know we have an army here?
Yeah.
All right. You're like a. All right.
What? Go ahead.
That summer in Israel didn't toughen you up, did it?
No, I didn't do a summer in Israel.
Yeah, well, maybe. Do you think maybe that's the problem?
What,
with your
with
whole
me?
life? You never did that summer in Israel.
The kibbutz?
Yeah.
Did you?
You should have went over there with a girlfriend and watch her slowly get fucked by every guy named Duty and Yanni in the country. I mean, that's a curse on your blog.
Of course.
This is family friendly. What's the rating on this?
Explicit.
Is it like a video game?
I get a lot of 14-year-olds listening to it. I get a certain type of kind of disturbed, cynical 14-year-olds that write me emails thanking me for letting them be assholes.
Well,
changing lives every day.
Here's the problem with guys like us. Like for every bad idea we have, we might have. Okay, for every 100 bad ideas we have one good idea. Like your good idea was that Jerusalem
syndrome,
right?
Yeah.
Because then you see like the Bill Maher thing, right? He did a movie about the Middle East and everything like that. Now I saw his thing and I read your thing and I think your thing was cool because it was a different take on it and like especially now with like the Middle East and religion and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was a great kind of like religion. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Like, is there any answers?
Right.
We're all looking for answers.
Right.
So I thought that was a cooler thing than the whole, like.
He seemed to make a lot more money than I did.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one of those good ideas where I make $1 million.
Well, the guy who invented Gumby died.
Yeah.
And I watched his documentary on the Sundance Channel. That was me watching that.
Yeah.
And he created this thing. He grew up. In a sad, he was like an orphan. Like, you remember those times when like white kids were orphans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that type of, the Depression
the Dust Bowl orphans.
Yeah, like when white kids for some reason didn't have families.
Yeah.
And he created this thing out of loneliness. And he's immediately, like, once it hit, he like tripped out. He like discovered LSD, left his family, and like, went to find himself, was sitting in India, cross-legged, doing the whole like, hippie experience.
Yeah.
And this thing became a huge hit. And then, he was
Gumby?
selling, and then it went down, and then went up, and he was selling Gumbies at a flea market. Him and his like third wife, and it became a hit again. It became like a late night like college thing to check out Gumby movies, and that might be your thing, man. You never
So
know.
you're saying out of my loneliness and pain, I have to create something like a plastic or claymation?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't really give you the answer. I just gave you an example.
Well, what's your big idea?
I don't know, man. I think of a lot of great ideas, but nobody seems to get them until they're already on television. A la Dirty Jobs.
Was that your idea?
Well, I always said that, like, I used to do jobs on my
Insomniac.
show, and I said, would it be great if we just did a show of jobs, of really cool third shift jobs? I was like, no, that will never work. And then there's like every other show is like, Axemen, Ice Road Truckers, real dudes, GEDs and meth. I got a GED and a meth problem. Check out what I do. A family of chopper makers.
Who thought that would fucking succeed?
I don't know. But Steve Seagal is out there right now.
He's probably close
fighting
by
crime.
here.
Oh, yeah. Is this his hood? Is this what he does?
I assume so. They're all around.
Does he use a gun, or does he use his non-offensive Aikido to subdue these crackheads?
I think he uses the gun and both. A little of both.
All right, let's stick to a topic now. How come you don't have that hour out there yet?
Oh, because, I've talked to people about producing it. It's a matter of, you got to get the money to produce it, and then, you got to hope someone wants to buy it. If this Comedy Central thing goes, I'll do an hour. That's what it takes.
What if no one buys it? Would you put it on Netflix? Would you put it on iTunes? See, you got to think that way.
And just sell it that way? Can you sell it that way?
Yeah, you won't get the initial big check, but you'll get the slow trickle of returns.
I put an hour on Vimeo, which is like YouTube, and people watch it. It was just one camera.
Is that
UCP.
Italian YouTube?
Yeah, it's
Vimeo?
Yeah,
Is that a Yugoslav knockoff?
I just put it out there for nothing. I got to quit putting stuff out there for nothing. Does that bother you? Do people shoot your shit and then put
Yes.
It does?
Well, they YouTube it all the time, but here's the problem with the YouTubing is that, I think Patton Oswalt said it best, is like, you kind of like, the joke isn't done yet, so like you're kind of YouTubing, you're putting up an unfinished product, so you're not really stealing anything. If anything, you're like just making it harder to complete it.
But I've done that on Conan. I've done half-baked bits on Conan on panel that became jokes later. That became bigger jokes. I don't. It doesn't happen to me that much, so I don't get that pissed off about it. I've not seen a lot of my stuff on YouTube.
I figured a guy like you would be all over YouTube, like you do a lot of alternative shows, don't they? Don't they do that, or they don't?
I don't do a lot of alternative shows.
No.
I show up occasionally, and they treat me like some sort of strange relic.
Yeah, you really are.
I'm a singular force.
I always say that you were like right there when it happened, that whole alternative movement.
Yeah,
And,
I'm credited with helping it.
Yeah, and now you're too real, and I'd say like bitter might be the word, but more like real and like just. Like
grown up.
It's not like the silly, fun.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Alternative of today. The silliness.
I can't even watch it. I don't know what your experience is in sitting in comedy clubs, but I can literally sit in a comedy club for 2 hours with my eyes closed and not tell the difference between most people. And then when somebody gets up there, that's a real person. It's good. I don't understand all the silly shit. I wish I could be more silly. Like I would never think of Gumby.
Yeah, well, take the gun out of your mouth and let's keep this going. But, it's not about Gumby.
It's amazing to me when you go to an alternative room and you see a regular comic go up or just a hacky comic. They're all excited as hell, and it just kills.
Oh, I never kill in front of those. They always just look at me nodding like, so that's it.
Why are you mad, old man? What's the matter, old man?
Yeah, exactly. But I was always an old man. I was a young old man, and I have to tell you that writing jokes over and over and over, it really does destroy you. Because, here I am, 20-something years into comedy, and, I finally got another midget bit, and I was excited. And, who can you tell that to when you're surrounded by midgets?
I remember you always used to come up to me. There was, specific sort of themes and topics that you would do, and you'd always ask me, one time you came up to me, do you do anything about jerking off on the Bible?
Well, I assume that there's people that I respect that I think are joke writers, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to ask this guy because I don't want to jack anybody else's bit.
The jerking off on the Bible bit? Did that ever turn into anything?
No, it didn't. Yeah. Some of the bits I don't have the balls to do.
Lost ideas?
That's a good one. Yeah.
What was the bit?
I don't know, but that's I have a lot of, I tried to be the religious guy, I always come up with 1 or 2 religious jokes. But I feel like it's kind of overdone now,
Do you remember when you were younger and we were all trying to figure out who the fuck we were? And, there was a 2 or 3 week period where I think you went on stage as some sort of coach or something, or you would do characters occasionally, but they were really just you. But you would have.
I would end up. I do mostly my dad on stage. You know, like my dad. I used to work for my dad, so I do.
What
like
did he
how
do? Work where?
We used to. My parents had a bridal dress tuxedo rental shop.
Yeah.
And I worked there from the time I was like 16 till I was, I guess, 19.
Yeah.
And you know, which is, I guess, slave. You know, underage, whatever. Right? No,
Right.
I guess not 16. But I was like,
what was your job there? Like getting the
everything.
shoes?
I cleaned the store. I was head of shipping and receiving. I sold shoes.
You were head of shipping and receiving?
Yeah, it was me and my grandpa, so I was his boss. And my dad the way he used to talk to me, I do that on stage as my control voice.
Yeah,
which it helps me. You know?
What is that voice?
You know, the sarcastic, whatchamacallit, biting, cutting dude.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it works. It definitely works, because I realized that's how men talk.
Yeah.
My dad was a man, and that's how men talked. And they didn't give, you know, they would do things like, I one time saw my dad with diabetes, full blown, you know, like diabetes, lift like 150-pound cash register, like one of these old cash registers, just by himself. And I was the guy who was like working out. You know, back then every kid in Long Island lifted weights and practiced karate. I couldn't lift it, and he like just fucking lifted it,
Yeah.
put it over there, lit a cigar, and said like, okay, what next? What do we have to do next? And I'm like, only a man can do that, because he
Yeah.
knew it had to be done.
What was that thing you said? I remember moments that you say, because they strike me as very funny. And
They're good.
And some of them are not too painful. The one time I was in front of Stand Up New York, and I just got that 93 Honda that I had, and I said that I got it from my dad. There's 150,000 miles on it, and he said, wow, that's a lot of running away.
Yeah, your dad was a very John Updike type, wasn't he? Finding himself.
Yeah, I don't know. He was fighting some sort of fight. He's still fighting it.
My dad always said to me, he goes, you know, I would smoke pot if it was legal, because he's like a Korean War guy. You know?
Yeah.
But he goes, yeah, I would have smoked pot, and like, you know, all those guys like my dad, they always felt like they dodged the bullet because they were too young for World War II.
Right.
You know, you're thinking like World War II, everybody like came home a hero, but they were like grew up during it, and they saw the guys who died, and you know,
And the guys who came home all fucked up.
yeah, all fucked up. Like you don't really hear about those guys, you know.
But every war has those guys.
Yeah, well, like the wars that we have, like
Yeah.
I've been to the hospitals for the troops, and this is I told this on other things, but I might as well tell you the whole thing. You go to Walter Reed, and you which is where they bring them after they go to Germany, the troops that are wounded.
Yeah.
And like you see a lot of guys going through vicious, hardcore rehab. They've lost arms and legs.
Yeah.
And they've got a dog there, which I thought was like a seeing eye dog, but he's really just there to kind of be their friend. And like, you know, when they're feeling down, he can sense it, and he'll come over to them, and like they'll use him to lean, you know, to stand up and to start doing their exercises and walk. So he's like a friend. And my joke is that I went to the hospital, and this dog that can sense pain would follow me around the whole day. This guy's there with no legs. You know, he's like, no, they're going to make it. This guy, I don't know if... But yeah, he, you know, it's an amazing thing that what they go through. But, you know, the psychological and emotional stuff, you know, we'll only know years from now the real toll of what's going on now. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, that's good that you do that stuff. I've always wondered what it would be like for me to do it, but I never get asked to do it.
Well, you know, let me tell you, it's a hard show because you got to keep it kind of clean, but they want it kind of dirty. And
Right.
There's a lot of things you don't want to talk about. Like, you don't want to talk about family stuff because they all miss their families. You don't want to talk about, like, you know, like politics because, you know, that's the last thing they want to hear about.
Right.
So there's a lot of no's in the those kind of shows. But, you know, you stick to the drinking and the porn stuff if you can say it. But they don't really, you know, like today's military, it's very, you know, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of, you know, it's not like, you know, just like dudes are there. You know, you got to like.
And they're also there because, you know, it's a job. I mean, the guys
Yeah.
I've talked to and the emails I get from guys are like, look, you know, I joined because I needed the money. I needed the job.
A lot of them do, yeah.
That there's not that sort of weird, or not weird, but there's not that national pride. Like your dad, the Korean War, I mean, that was a big fucking war. I just read the last new Philip Roth book. That was a messy, shitty war.
Yeah, it never got the props that it deserved because it was a real. You know who was called up for the Korean War? Ed McMahon, because he was in the reserves. He was in the tail end of World War II, and then they called him up for that. And he was a pilot. And Ted Williams also was a pilot.
The baseball player?
Yeah. So you don't see much of that now.
George Bush Sr., I think, as well, but I think that was World War II.
No, he was in World War II. He was the youngest pilot in the Navy. I know a lot of stuff from the History Channel. So there's a great tape of George Bush Sr. being rescued by a submarine.
Right.
Yeah, and he said, I can't believe I made it. I'm going to one day go home and have a son who's going to fuck all this up. I don't know. Yeah, now you're not a political comic, are you?
I did a lot of politics. I think I'm more of a social commentator.
Oh, that's good.
Because like now with the podcast, I couldn't be more happy to just talk about what's on my mind and not talk about, politics every day. Because it took a lot of work to stay up to date. I'm not sure it did me any good. I mean, I like knowing about it and I got very involved with it. But I think that when you go to clubs and stuff, like the Air America thing, even if they're on your side, they're like, I don't know, he's going to separate the audience. It just means that half the people, in their mind, half the people aren't going to like you.
Yeah, well, the Air America crowd must have been very, you'd have to be really on your toes, because they're, like, very politicized. I think.
Yeah, I can't, like, I found myself, because there's a lot of things that, it's not that I'm not liberal, it's just there's a lot of things that, that I'm not completely party line with,
Oh, yeah.
You don't talk about politics, though.
I talk about the general stuff that you see, like, on the CNN banners, like health care.
Right.
So then I'll, like, say, we need health care, but I'm not, like, into the minutia of it.
Is that the whole joke?
So far, like I said, I work them out. I'm pro health care. That's as far as I got. Then I got sleepy. But we've all, like, like I've seen really good political comics, guys who were doing it before politics became like really cool to do.
Right.
And those are the ones like Lewis Black and people like that. Those are the guys who are really good at it.
But even him, he's like, he speaks from the point of view of a pissed off guy. Like he makes a political, and I think Bill Maher is the guy, because he's basically an all joke guy, but he's definitely got a point of view, and it's definitely to the left, but he's also pretty much of a dude's dude. He's not.
Yeah, he's a bachelor. He's like a real
cad.
playboy. Yeah,
he's a cad.
But that's Hollywood for you. I think that's what a middle America, like what the Republicans always say. That's Hollywood talking. That's not middle America talking. So
yeah, I don't know. I think a middle America sometimes they're not it's not so much that they're stupid. They just get a lot of shitty information and they're mad.
Well, they love it like when a guy really can like dumb it down, like really like go
sure,
like this
keep
is what
it
it's
simple.
not.
Yeah.
It's never your fault. It's this.
Yeah, it's that other guy's.
See, I don't believe the government can do anything. It can't even do anything right. Like kill the right people, like on death row, or protect people from this and that.
Yeah.
And,
it's amazing.
It's like I know I'm on my own. I can deal with it.
That's right. I think that's true for everybody. It's sad, but it's true.
I don't know. A lot of people think the government's going to save them from shit, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I've realized that you're not going to be saved from anything. All you got to do is call customer service once or twice, and you realize like
yes,
no one's going to help me.
Yes. You've been to Best Buy. I mean, none of them really care about you.
No one cares about anything.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. And, now with the Olympics coming.
That'll change everything.
See, that's something that I've always tried to have an Olympic joke. But as time goes on, I realize the Olympics are not for me. They're for, like, children or like weird people enjoy the Olympics. I don't.
You better prepare some stuff for Vancouver, buddy.
I know. It's right there. It's happening. Which in a town of potheads and unsigned bands, in a town of people who kind of sort of wrote on Kids in the Hall.
Have you been up there before?
Only like for a day or two,
Every time I'm up there, I feel like the entire city was built out of a kit. Like it was it came in one big box that was just there, and they built it. It feels like in those movies from the 70s that were made about the future. Like I've always said about Vancouver, you get this feeling that everyone should be walking around wearing the same color jumpsuit and wraparound sunglasses.
Well, everybody up there has been in one of our movies, because they shoot a lot of movies up there or a lot of TV shows. So you're like, who is that guy that just gave me a coffee? Wasn't he an extra in an episode of Bones? Wasn't he a car accident patient?
Are you doing any? What's going on with this? What is that show that you were doing?
It's called Dave's Old Porn, and right now we're waiting to hear if G4 will pick it up. So it's about what I do is I take the classic porn of the 70s, like a Debbie Does Dallas or a Deep Throat, and we go through the movie and we talk more about the story than the sex, because back then the porn movies actually had stories.
Like the opening of Misty Beethoven?
Right, like that kind of stuff.
That movie changed my life. Or Behind the Green Door?
Yeah, those are good examples of the kind of movies that we're talking about. And then I'll bring out another comic like Judah Friedlander. He was on it. And then we'll bring out people who are actually in the movie.
Really?
And these are like the old porn stars from the golden age.
Like, what's that guy who went to Columbia? The guy from opening of Misty Beethoven? Oh,
is it
shit.
Evan Stone or
No.
something like that? No.
He was.
No, Evans.
He was a spanker. He likes spanking people. His name is Jamie Gillis.
Oh yeah, Jamie is a really cool guy. I met him through Yoshi, who works in the porn business. He's a comic, and Jamie is a really cool guy. So if this went for a series, we would bring out a guy like Jamie.
Yeah, he's a
And
pretty smart guy. He was like a Columbia graduate,
Yeah.
I think, and a lot of those guys.
He's
were,
the Elliot Gould of the porn world. He also created the Gonzo, kind of like more free form camera, use of amateur type.
What happened to Ed Powers?
Ed is still out there, I think, but I don't really know. I saw him one time in a strip club in like I guess the early '90s, and I don't know if he was auditioning girls or just taking in the scene, but he's a LA based guy. Most of them are LA based.
I remember watching those Dirty Debutantes. That was it. Like
That's
sort of-
Randy West, yeah. No,
No,
wait,
that was Ed
that's
Powers.
Up and Comers, yeah.
And I always thought like I could see he represented the everyman. Like he
Yeah.
was like the Frank Capra of porn.
The fat guy with the ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could tell like there are different periods where he tried to lose weight and
Yeah. Yeah, the back freckles, that was weird.
yeah, and he always had to work really hard.
And you could tell the girls that he was like he would pay more money than anybody else, so he would get like the newest girls, the hottest girls, but they all had that look of like, wow, this really is, maybe it was the lighting. I don't know. But
Do you think there's anything wrong with porn?
no, not really. I mean, I don't like high end porn. I like the amateur, like I don't need, like if I'm looking at it to jerk off, I don't need like the parody or anything like that. But when I did the porn awards, I realized every other movie, they made 7,000 movies this year for the price of what, like one Avatar commercial, and
How many have you seen though? Did you ever? That's
about
American.
6,000 of them because I'm on the road. No, but I, like they're up against the wall, man. There's like so much free porn on the internet. It's stolen porn,
Right.
and I can't say I've never looked at it. So,
Right.
like who would pay for it if they get it for free?
Are you dating anybody?
I wish. No.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of LA is that everybody wants to talk to someone after a show here, but they don't want to go home with you. They just don't want to go home.
Yeah.
Because like everybody knows they're going back to their sad little apartment in the Silver Lake with
Yeah.
the cat.
Yeah.
Einstein.
Quit talking about my life.
No, I figure a guy like you with a female roommate.
Yeah.
Nothing brings more poon than an actual female roommate.
Yeah, but the house is so quiet, and I feel weird about it. It's an adjustment. I like her a lot, and I like having somebody there. It's nice. It's like being married without all the fucking horrendous responsibility and paranoia and anger.
Well, what does she do? Is she some kind of yoga instructor or something?
No, she works in the business.
Oh.
How much you smoking?
About 2 packs a day. Smoking overseas is pretty difficult.
What about booze?
None.
Really?
I don't drink anymore.
How'd that feel?
It feels all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't miss booze like people think I would because I drank a shitload. And I'm not in any program or anything like that. It's mostly because I have like a inflamed kidney and my liver was twice the size of what it should be.
Is that true?
Yeah, but I also stopped because like I'm old and like sitting in the bar as the old man is not the way to go. And I don't, like once you give up the whole idea of like something amazing is going to happen if you go to a bar.
Oh, God.
Then you realize that like you're not missing anything. But in
If
New
you're drunk,
York,
that feeling when you have Coke and you're drunk, and
Yeah.
like it's 3 a.m, you're like, oh, it's all going to turn around any second.
you told me the best, if I can say it, the best Coke story ever where you go like, drugs in LA are the best because you end up in somebody's house and it's like you, an ex-stunt man, a D-level model,
Yeah.
and like fill in the name of your favorite,
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Like you'll see some guy like, I thought you were the host of Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah. And you don't know how you got to the room or what neighborhood you're in because you're already fucked up. And there's always some guy that you don't know and no one really knows that well, and he's scary, but he brought the Coke, and that's going to be your next 12 hours.
Yeah, and that's the thing about LA too is that
That all happens.
no one
there.
has anything to do the next day, so they all can like hang out there for a couple days.
Well, that thing you said about people not wanting to go home, it's like the only way you socialize if you go to someone's house or you go to a restaurant or a bar. Mm-hmm. It's not like New York. You just walk into this like ongoing crowd all the fucking
Right.
time. You literally, if you're in LA and you drive past a place where there's people outside, you're like, oh fuck, no, I didn't get invited to that. What's going on there?
Well, I always think that when you're in LA and like you go to a party, you're trapped there because there's like if you leave, you got to say goodbye to everyone, or else you hear about it the next day. So, and they'll go like, where are you going? Like, I remember I worked on Ray Romano's show, and they were like an adult show, so they would have like parties where it would be like, we're going to make our own pizza, and like, this guy owns the restaurant, and he's going to let us all go in there and make our own pizzas, and like, there's little kids there, and everybody, family, kind of thing. And then you'd be like, well, I'm going to go over to the Improv and do a spot, and then get drunk, and hopefully bang some kind of whore. And they'd be like, what? It's 10 o'clock. I mean, this party is over. There's, we're all going back to our very calm, fun lives.
Yeah, our domesticated caves. Where the hell did you used to drink, though? I always remember you just disappear.
I drank all over in Manhattan.
But by yourself, like?
Yeah, no, I knew like all these bars I would just go to, like bars. I would never go to clubs. Like if you go to New York now, it's mostly about like the club scene, kind of like out here, like Butter and HQ and all these different places.
Holy shit.
I've never.
You know two more names than I do.
Yeah, I've never been to any of those
Butter?
places.
I'm going to go to
But those
Butter.
are always the places where
Kids.
Well, not so much kids, but just like the up and comer people, like the models and the like. Oh, the cast of Glee is here, or something like that. So, but like you were at Caroline's, and I just think we get Caroline's, and I remember that bar at Caroline's. Like we used to like fucking shut that bitch down, like just drink and drink, throw a couple hundred behind the bar, and like I'd be bartending and mixing shots, and like doing fucking all kinds of crazy drugs. And now like I go there and I tip you always tip at the end of the week. I give the kid a tip. They're like, what is this for? I'm like, well, usually the headliner tips out to the bar. And they're like, oh, wow, because nobody even, like, drinks anymore, And that's how it is. I guess everybody got old. And the younger comics, they're all just smoking pot.
Yeah. I don't think pot's good.
You were never a pot guy, were you?
No, I smoked a lot of pot. I just think it's a will killer. At least with booze, you're out in the world fucking things up.
Well, but there's never been a better time for potheads than right now.
Yeah, quality. You can you get it from a doctor.
You can get it from a doctor. You can eat it in a brownie form. And that's not just like, you and your friends hanging out because they don't have parents.
Yeah.
Like, let's experiment.
Yeah, I miss pot, quite honestly.
You do? I figured you would smoke a little pot.
Nah, don't do nothing. I do a lot of nicotine loss.
That's an order. I think you should smoke a little. You don't think it would take the edge off of you?
I don't know. I'm already in my head enough. It just makes me more in my head.
Yeah. Do you have trouble sleeping at night?
Sometimes, but only when I'm at home. In hotels, I sleep very well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I'm at home, I'm worrying about the noise outside, or whether the garage is going to slide down the mountain, or whether or not someone's going to hit me with a bat while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, being a homeowner really does suck. Like my mom's home.
Yeah, it never gets done.
It's never done, and she has like a hoarding problem, so I got to scream at her about having 300 pairs of socks.
Does she really?
And then she throws back, well, if you had heat in here, I wouldn't need all this. No.
Does she hoard stuff?
Yeah, she does, but she's like not a dirty hoarder. She's like it's all folded neatly and nicely, and it's in boxes. And I'm like, well, who's this for? She's like, oh, I want to give this to like somebody who's already dead, and I'm like, I'm like, just get rid of it. And I went through all of our old like photos and slides, and like you can slowly see the family degenerate into separate entities. But I put it all on a slideshow for her, and I put it all on a frame, and I gave it to her for Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And she opens up, she's like, that's so nice, I can't believe it. And then she calls me back an hour later, she goes, so what do I do? Do I plug this in and turn it on? She was just so excited to get a frame. What a sad fucking life. Thank you for sending me a box. What a fucking idiot. What an idiot.
She was just happy you sent her something.
Yeah. Look at him filling out the address and return address.
So, all right, so we're going to hang out in Seattle then, maybe?
I hope so. Well, I definitely want to work with you on the road again. I'm thinking you, me, Tom Rhodes, and Doug Stanhope in the Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda tour would be great.
Why don't we do that?
I like that idea.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda?
Yeah. Or just like the, poor choices.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah, now I'm going to get my brain around that. And I think if you're serious about it, we should talk to
we'll have
Stanhope.
guys like rotate in and out, so it won't have to be like such a thing on people, book like a couple theaters, see how it goes.
Right.
And then do like, like a kind of round table at the end of like how all our careers and lives have gone horribly.
Okay, so you want to do actually film it?
No.
All right.
Baby steps. Look at you're already trying to sell it to
I want to just
the
work.
Kings of comedy.
I just want to work. Let's do it. I got a CAA booker. Let's make that happen.
All right. So that's what I'd like to do because
that's a good lineup too. Me, you, Rhodes, and Stanhope.
Yeah, I figure between all of us we should be able to draw like a couple hundred people apiece.
I think Doug does pretty good with his people.
Well, Doug is the guy who, like if we could talk about one guy who I think is the most pure, evil, real, guy who sticks to what comedy should be, it's him.
Yeah.
And
he'll play anywhere.
He plays bar shows to his own disgruntled crowd, and like they love him, and he's like almost like a Manson or Jim Jones to them.
Yeah, I had him on, and that was the first time we hung out. We had a great time.
Oh, really? I thought you knew him for a long time.
We know of each other. Our records are produced by the same guy, so we listen to each other's stuff, and he had listened to mine. He sent me a nice email, but we never really talked. Mm-hmm. And then I had him on the show in New York. I went to comics, and we had a really great time. It's
hard to get in touch with Doug because if he's not on the road doing his gigs, then he's in Bisbee, Arizona, in his in his small desert
compound?
town, compound militia training camp. And if he's not there, he's in Costa Rica for whatever. So it's kind of you got to catch him at the right moment if you want to talk to him.
All right,
thanks for having me on, man. It's always good seeing you.
It's great seeing you. I appreciate
once again, I wish you all the best.
And
nobody's due a break more than you.
I appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for doing it. Nice. All right, hold on. Let me turn the light on in my garage. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. I love Dave. It was great to talk to him. Here we go. I'm going to do a couple emails before we get out here. This is the Avatar issue. I get more emails about this fucking Avatar movie. Look, it was garbage. I'm glad you liked it. It was garbage and it was a waste of money. It didn't help anything. That's the way I feel about it. How can you get a movie to make $1 billion, but you can't get people to reach in their pocket to send real people in Haiti, $5? Why? Because they're brown and not blue? I mean, what's the issue? Unbelievable. Children. We're fucking children. So I get this email. Hey there, Mr. Maron. I'm Lou, a fan from Brazil. Found your podcast after you went on comedy and everything else and really love it. I'd like to share with you a WTF moment I had last Sunday when I went to see Avatar. I also shared your view that maybe they spent too much money on it. They should be directing those resources to something more useful, and also that was just technology for technology's sake. But since I knew at some point that I would eventually watch it, I decided to do so while high on LSD. So if Cameron's putting $300 million on the pot with this 3D shenanigans, then I'd be raising him a double-sided Hoffman straight from the secret stash, the one for special occasions. Oh my God, that's old school 60s real deal acid shit. Double-sided Hoffman. All right, back to the letter. I went to the cinema for an 11:30 a.m. session. That was pretty empty, which was good because I was already quite high. So the special effects were really awesome. The pseudo-fauna was pretty. The people were blue. The story was very bleak, but I was going along for the ride, trying not to laugh too hard at all the stereotypes and focusing on the good parts. It was all right. I was being entertained. Right about the end, I had a very powerful realization about myself and my life at that particular point, that I was still standing in the hallway staring at the poster, putting my glasses on and off, and the movie hadn't even started yet. WTF. I guess my point is, don't do drugs. On a more serious note, though, the movie really was lame and totally not worth the sensation that my eyes will never really line up properly ever again. I hope he's telling the truth about double-sided Hoffman straight from the secret stash. That's a beautiful line. Here's something I think we can put under the no more crap about Jew stuff. No more crap about... Is that how I say it? Play the music, Brendan. Dear Mark, I was online to see a movie the other day when the woman in front of me turned, apropos of nothing, and wished me a happy Yom Kippur, which, as I'm sure you know, is usually in September or October. I am not Jewish, though I do have a large beard and short hair, which I suppose made me Jewish in her mind. She then said that Yom Kippur was the same as Kwanzaa, and that it went until February 14th. She asked if I was Jewish, and I said no, to which she replied, distinctively enunciating, "You look like him," as if the entire Jewish population was a single person. Thought you'd appreciate that. Nathan from Brooklyn. You a Jew? No? You look like him. Beautiful. PunchlineMagazine.com for everything you need to know about comedy and everything else. Thank you all for voting for me at the Stand-Up Showdown. It seems to have helped. Again, tomorrow night at the UCB Theater, probably sold out, so don't freak out. But next Thursday, January 28th, at the Comedy Central stage at the Hudson Theater, that's a 7 p.m. show. Could use you there. 323-960-5519. There's a parking lot available. There's street parking. It's free. Did I mention that before? It's free. JustCoffee.coop. Go do that. You can get it at the website, though. They've stopped the coupon deal. Some of you are asking me, where's the coupon deal? Because some people are still on episode 8. And that deal is over. But the coffee's still good. So do all that. I think I covered everything. I hope you're well. I hope this brought you some joy and a little bit of sadness and a little bit of what the fuck. Take it easy.